Hey everyone, this is MrAddOil helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the fourth argument on why I made a decision to attend the Block Online Coding Bootcamp. And we're going to be talking about that coming up. A quick reminder, I have a blog post about this already where it lists out the 7 arguments on why I attended or I chose to attend the Block Online Coding Bootcamp, and I'll list it in the descriptions below. And another refresher, this whole entire video series, it's a self-qualification exercise for you. There's 7 arguments, and if you resonate with 5 of these arguments, then it's just a strong indicator that perhaps an online coding bootcamp similar to Block or a different online coding bootcamp might be a good fit for you. This argument is the advantage of an online coding bootcamp like Block, which is one-on-one mentorship and QA sessions. Mentorship of any sort is super valuable, and in a future video series and a blog post, I'm going to really be talking about how mentorships have affected my life for the positive reasons, right? Like positive effects of mentorship. But for the purposes of this argument, you will want to join an online coding bootcamp that offers some sort of mentorship for these type of advantages. The first one is when you have someone mentoring over you, they help you, they point out things that you need to work on, right? There's a saying, if you don't know something, you don't know something. Like you only know what you know, and what you don't know, you don't know. But when you have a mentor helping you, removing roadblocks and telling you how to really do things, then they point out areas or gaps in your skill set, your knowledge that you need to fill to become a better developer. And that is super valuable. So the value of mentorship, one-on-one mentorship, is the constructive feedback, right? They tell you what you need to work on, what you're doing wrong, and they help you get unstuck faster versus if you were trying to go the self-taught route or trying to do things on your own. The next advantage is, I mean, I kind of already talked about it, but removing roadblocks. And this is super important because when you're a developer just trying to learn like the fundamentals, lay down your foundations, it's really, when you hit a roadblock, when you don't know why a certain function doesn't work, you don't know why your CSS is not rendering the image that you want it to render, or you don't know why when you're working with an API, you're hitting the API, but nothing is rendering or information is not being received when you hit that API. When you're a newbie and you're trying to figure this out by yourself, it's gonna take you a long time. Like it takes, like on average, like if you were to try to do it yourself by doing your own research, leveraging other like resources like YouTube, or just like going on Stack Overflow, or just Googling things, it can take you like 2 to 4 hours to solve a problem that with some sort of mentorship and help, they can help you overcome that in like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So it saves you a lot of time and it removes those roadblocks from your learning so you can move faster and get to the next point. And the third advantage is mentors, they can share best practices. And this is super important because when you're a newbie developer, you don't know what's good or what's bad. Like what you might be doing might be a bad practice, and then the more you practice it, it becomes a habit and it becomes a bad habit. So later on in the line, when you, like the only way you get rid of a bad habit is to learn the good habit and remove the bad habit, which takes twice the amount of effort. So having a mentor in place teaching you how to code, they can share their best practices to save you time, energy, and to build those good habits. One example would be one of my friends from Square, a senior software engineer. He's one of my mentors. He actually taught me how to write readable code. Before, I had this paradigm image in my mind that good looking code they're one-liners, meaning that like in one line you can solve a problem. But he totally, flipped my paradigm upside down by saying, no, you shouldn't do that. I mean, he made an example. He was like, if your manager told you to refactor your code and it was a one-liner, like you wouldn't know how to read that code, how it works. So he taught me how to like use variables to paint a stronger, more readable like storyline of what you're trying to accomplish in a given function. Like using variables to paint out the steps in your thought process so that once you finish solving for that problem, and then in the future when you or another developer looks at that code, they will understand what you're trying to accomplish and they can build upon that. But that type of best practice is unknown if you were just trying to, you know, try to code it out on your own. Fourth advantage is with this online coding bootcamp, I think most online coding bootcamps have this too, but they have designated Q&A sessions. And I highly recommend you overuse them as much as possible. So the way you would use them is you would use them to get unstuck, or you would use them to join in and just listen to other problems that students might be, like your fellow students might be facing, and you can listen in on how that mentor in that Q&A session addresses those problems, so that in the future, if you were to meet similar problems, you can just be ready and have a solution in hand from those sessions. So we're going to talk about the disadvantage of one-on-one mentorship of Thinkful and Block, particularly in this program I'm in, right? So in Thinkful, it'll be like the full stack flex, which is full stack development flexible program, similar to the Block web developer track, which I am in. And one of the disadvantages, you only get one-on-one mentorship session per week, and it's only 30 minutes. And that's definitely not enough, because in 30 minutes, you can barely overcome one like roadblock that you're facing. Sometimes you won't be able to overcome it at all, and you have to like resolve to using Slack. You have to Slack your mentor, but even then, like they have a life, they have a job, and they're working with other students. They just don't have the attention to give you TLC, right? Tender love and care. So that sucks. But there's good news. You can overcome this disadvantage of just having 30 minutes one-on-one mentorship per week. And then the way I did it is you have to network, prospect, and go through your network and look for software developers who are in your LinkedIn connections, your Facebook group, your local, I don't know, church, anywhere. Like just find a software engineer friend near you and then ask them to be your mentor. Of course, there's no free lunch, right? Like you have to kind of sell them on why they should mentor you and what they're getting out of it. So if you understand how to do that, maybe I'll make a video on how I did that, but I'm able to have, I think right now I have up to like 4 or 5 extra mentors outside, maybe close to 6, that I rotate throughout the week so that I have like at least 3 to 4 one-on-one mentorship sessions. And it's not just 30 minutes. It can be like an hour up to 2 hours with some of my friends. And this is a great way to overcome just having 30 minutes of one-on-one mentorship. Great, that's all I have for this video. So thank you for tuning in. And like I mentioned, there's a blog post about this if you're really eager and want to just read on and not subscribe to this video series, because maybe you're in a situation where you're like, darn, I really need to make a decision if I want to attend an online coding bootcamp or an on-site coding bootcamp. That blog post has basically everything that this video series is going to cover, but it's going to be faster. It's in a written format, right? And then it's designed to be a self-qualification practice for you. So if you resonate with 5 of those arguments mentioned in that blog post out of the 7, then it's a strong indicator that you should probably attend an online coding bootcamp. Again, this is MrAddOil helping you fight for your today, for your better tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next video.